I wish I could make reaction videos, but I was born in 1956. I've heard all these songs. What could I possibly react to?
Hey whippersnappers, Brian here at A Boomer Reacts. We are in the thick of things now with our series, big things starting to happen. The last episode I told you that something was going to happen at the end of '94 that was going to put this whole rivalry in a new trajectory. What's funny is when I did Fuck Compton by Tim Dog, everything that I've read said, okay, this is what starts the rivalry, East Coast, West Coast rivalry. And then as I'm researching this event, it's like, okay, this is what started the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. And then I know that there's there's an event in '95 that I'll cover that supposedly is like, this is the thing that started the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. So we'll see. But what we're going to talk about today, is pivotal. So last time we talked, Tupac had just been charged with sexual assault for an incident that occurred at a New York hotel. Last episode I said LA hotel. It's a New York hotel. So Tupac is in town shooting a movie called Above the Rim, and in it he plays a street gangster. So as he's in New York filming, he meets an actual real life bad guy street gangster, and this guy's name is Haitian Jack. So Tup is being wined and dined by Haitian Jack, getting into all the best clubs, and Pac says he's like picking up pointers for him to play his character in Above the Rim. But all of Pac's friends are saying this guy is bad news. You don't want to have anything to do with him. Steer clear. Even Biggie said, no good is going to come of this, Pac. Don't do it. And Pac continued to do it, and I think maybe that started some kind of a rift between the two. Like, here I'm telling my buddy, for his own good, warning him to stay away from this guy, and he just does not take my advice. Anyway, so the whole sexual assault thing takes place because Tupac goes out with this Haitian Jack guy, and they go to a club, and Tupac meets this 18-year-old, maybe 18-year-old fan named Ayanna Jackson. And they talk, they go out on the dance floor, and relatively shortly of them getting on the dance floor, Ayanna gives them a blowjob out on the dance floor. And I'm not being, gossipy or anything. This was uncontested at trial. So she gives them a blowjob on the dance floor. They go back to his hotel room. They have consensual sex. She comes back a couple more times to Tupac's suite. He's in New York. He's staying in this suite, filming the movie. She comes back a couple more times. The last time she comes by is November 18th, 1993. So she comes over. Haitian Jack is there. Tupac's manager, Charles Fuller, is there, and then another unidentified guy. So what happens is Tupac and Ayanna go into, the bedroom, and, they're getting it on, and the door opens, and, Haitian Jack and that other guy come in. She says that when that happened, Tupac was holding her head and going, it's okay, baby, it's okay, I think you're so great, I wanted to share them with you. This is what she says. Pac is saying, yes, the guys did walk in, but she knows these guys, and he just thought, okay, well, this is weird, so I'm leaving. So he left. She's in there with the two guys, And then later she comes out screaming, that she's been raped by these guys, and, Tupac, how could you leave me alone with them? She goes to get hotel security, and then, the whole thing blows up. So Pac gets arrested, and he gets out on bail, and his trial is set for the following November. So November 1994, his trial is going to be. So Above the Rim comes out that spring, and comes out under this cloud of suspicion, like the star of this movie is going to have a rape trial later this year. So that spoils a lot of the excitement for Pac. The soundtrack for Above the Rim comes out, and Tupac's on it, Snoop Dogg's on it, Warren G's on it, and because it's going to be released by Death Row Records, so Suge and Dr. Dre are in the background, working on all of this. Pac is still signed with Interscope Records, but Interscope and Bad Boy, Death Row, are kind of a partnership. So it's all incestuous, even though Pac is not signed with Death Row. He's signed with Interscope. In the meantime, Biggie's Ready to Die finally comes out, and it's a big smash. First big hit is called Juicy. That's the song that I reacted to, my second ever reaction video. And I kind of feel bad now that I wasn't able to give it justice because I knew none of the backstory. So I think if I ever do any of these one-off reaction videos, I'm gonna have to do research about what's going on in the artist's life during that time, so I'll be able to understand the song better. Because in Juicy, I was just like, oh, that's nice. He's being inspirational to his community, and I didn't know any of the stuff that I know now. So I think I did that one a disservice. So anyway, he comes out with that. Tupac also comes out with an album that he does with Thug Life, with a group of guys that he knows, and I don't know if it's around this time, but he's got the famous Thug Life tattoo on his stomach. When he's asked about Thug Life, he says it's an acronym for, I've written down here. Okay, acronym. So the hate you give little infants fucks everyone. So that's Thug Life. So he's saying, if you're not compassionate and friendly to young brown and black children, then don't complain that you're getting robbed by one, basically. So if you're not nice to them, that fucks everyone. Sets them on a dangerous path. So he comes out with Thug Life. That's received well. And so he's back in New York for his trial. So it's November. He's back for his trial. He shows up every day for it. And then he gets a call from an associate of his named James Redman, also known as Jimmy the Henchman. So he used to hang out with Jimmy the Henchman back in the Haitian Jack days. And Tupac and Haitian Jack are not friends now. Pac, blames him for what went down at the sexual assault thing. In fact, Haitian Jack got arrested as well. But he severed his case from Tupac's. And then, once his trial came around, Ayanna Jackson was just like, I can't go through this again. So Haitian Jack just pleaded, guilty to a couple of misdemeanors, and he didn't do any time at all, which is, suspicious. So, Pac's involved with the trial. He gets a call from Jimmy the Henchman, and Jimmy the Henchman is at Quad Studios at that minute, and he's managing a guy named Lil Sean. And Jimmy the Henchman says, if you come down to Quad Studios now and you lay down some vocals for this track that Little Sean is doing, I'll give you $7,000. So Pac heads over to Quad Studios. He's got his friend Stretch with him. He's got his manager, his street name is Nichols. So he's got Nichols like the coin, Nichols. And he's got his brother-in-law, Tupac's brother-in-law, Zayd with him. So the four of them going over to Quad Studios. And in the lobby, as they're walking up, there's like three guys. They're dressed in camo. They got like newspapers. Odd, right? But they're thinking, okay, so it's a recording studio. Someone's probably up there, and this is, their security. So they go in. Those guys don't say anything to them. Press the button. It's a lobby. It's a small lobby. So it's those guys, sitting around the security desk. No security officer, and these guys walk in and press the button for the elevator, and then these guys approach them and they want get on the ground. They have guns, and give us all your jewelry. So Tupac's not having any of that, so he pulls a gun from his waistband, and then gunfire ensues. So when all is said and done, Pac has some head grazes. He gets shot in the hand, and he's been shot on the groin. And during all of this, Stretch, his friend, is able to get him into an elevator, and they go upstairs. I guess the guys eventually leave. The police arrive, and they discover that Puffy, Sean Combs, and Biggie are also upstairs recording with Junior Mafia, and Tupac had no idea that they were there. So he eventually sees them before the ambulance comes, and who knows what's going through Pac's mind. He knows that probably Jimmy the Henchman has to be involved, right? He was the only one that knew that Pac was coming to Quad Studios right then. This was not like on an itinerary or a schedule. This was a last minute, can you come down right now? So he knows that Jimmy the Henchman is involved somehow. And he gets it into his head that, Sean and Biggie knew that this was going to happen, but failed to warn him. Sean and Biggie have maintained they knew nothing about it. When they saw Tupac, with his, gunshot wounds, they were like, oh my God, how can we help? So I don't know why Tupac got that into his head. People say that it was, marketing on, this is what I hear, marketing on Tupac's side, like, okay, let me, work this rivalry up, and, we'll make some more money. I don't know. That's just what some people have said. So Tupac goes to the hospital. His worst wound is he got shot in the testicles. Some people are saying that when he pulled his gun out of his waistband, the gun went off and he shot his own testicles. I think that whole story, if it's true, got downplayed because, who wants it out there that, big, tough gangster rapper gets shot 5 times, but the worst one is by himself in his balls. So, they played up the, 5 wounds and he got shot in the head. But supposedly those were just grazes. Anyway, he goes to the hospital. He has surgery. He's freaked out that, like there's some kind of hit out on him that these guys are going to come back and kill him in the hospital. So he checks himself out. and leaves the hospital and goes to like a safe location. He does show up at trial. His trial is ongoing. He's in a wheelchair. He's all bandaged up. Before he comes into the room, the judge is there with a jury, and he says, okay, I don't want you to make any assumptions about the appearance of Mr. Shakur. That has nothing to do with what we're going to be talking about today, but okay, here he comes. So here he comes in the wheelchair, and he's all bandaged up. And, the jury's not supposed to, like, assume anything about it. So he does get found guilty of lesser charges, assault, like touching her inappropriately. And he gets sentenced February of 95 to 1.5 to 4 years. So he's off to jail. He goes up to upstate New York, Dannemora, New York. So he's there in jail, in prison, and he hears on the radio this song by Notorious B.I.G. called Who Shot Ya? And he thinks that it's about him, and now Sean, Puffy Combs, and Biggie are like his enemies. He already thinks they had at least, if not something to do with it, at least knowledge that it was going to happen. And then here Biggie is supposedly singing this song that, is mocking him for getting shot. Now Sean and Biggie say this song was recorded before the shooting ever happened, so it couldn't be about Tupac, but Tupac thinks so regardless. So we're going to listen to that now. It's called Who Shot Ya by Notorious B.I.G. I'm not sure. Yeah, Puffy's in it too. So let's listen to it. We'll see if we think that, if we can tell that this was definitely for Tupac, or if it's kind of vague and it could be everybody, could be anybody. Okay, so here we go.
As we proceed to give you what you need, not by motherfuckers. Get live, motherfuckers. As we proceed to give you what you need, not by motherfuckers. Get live, motherfuckers.
Now turn the mics up. Turn that mic up. Yeah, the beat is knocking. Leave that mic up though. Turn that shit the fuck up. What? Turn up louder. Yeah.
Okay, so the intro's cool. What's a 9-5 motherfucker and a JM motherfucker? I do not know. 9-5 motherfucker. People who work in office jobs? I don't know. It's 1995. So 9-5 motherfucker? I don't know what that means, but yeah, JM motherfuckers, I don't know what that means.
Who shot ya? Separate the weak from the opsa. Leap hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on, nigga. Fuck all that bickering beef. I can hear sweat trickling down your cheek. Your heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet. Thundering, shaking the concrete. Then the shit stopped when I fall the plot. Neighbors call the cops, said they heard mad shots. Saw me in the drop, 3 1/4. Slaughter, electrical tape around the daughter. Old school, new school, need to learn though. I burn, baby, burn like disco inferno. Burn slow like blunts with yayo. Peel more skins than Idaho potato. Niggas know the lyrical molesting is taking place. Fucking with B.I.G. it ain't safe. I make your skin chafe. Rashes on the masses. Bumps and bruises. Blunts and Land Cruisers. Big Papa smash fools, bash fools. Niggas mad because I know the cash rules. Everything around me, 2 Glock 9s. Any motherfucker whispering about mine. And I'm Brooklyn's finest. You rewind this, bad boys behind this. seen the light excite all the freaks. Stack mad chips, spread love with my peeps. Niggas wanna creep, got to watch my back. Think the cognac and endo sack make me slack. I switches all that, cocksucker G's up. One force move, get Swiss cheesed up. Clip detect respect, I demand it. Slip and break the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not fuck with North Sea Papa. Feel 1,000 deaths when I drop ya. I feel for you like Shaka Khan, I'm the Don. Pussy when I want Rolex on the arm. You'll die slow but calm. Recognize my face so there won't be no mistake. So you know where to tell Jake, lame nigga, brave nigga. Turn front page nigga, Puff Daddy flips daily. I smoke the blunts, he sips on the Baileys. On the rocks, tote blocks at christenings. Hammer cop in the fire positioning. What? Come here, open your fucking mouth.
So this part, I forgot to bring my mouse, so I'm reaching. So this part where he says, hammercock in the fire position. Supposedly, Tupac always had his gun that he kept with him in the firing position. The hammer was cocked, which might lend credence to, him shooting himself in the balls. If he reached in for it and it's already cocked, it goes off. So this could be an allusion to that. So it would point to, yes, it was about Tupac. That's the first clue I've seen that, yes, this is about Tupac. I'm trying to think everything else could have been about somebody else. Or anybody else, a fictitious person.
The blunts, he sips on the Baileys, on the rocks, tote blocks at christenings, hammer cop in the fire positioning. What? Come here, open your fucking mouth. Did I tell you don't fuck with me? Huh? Did I tell you not to fuck with me? Huh? Look at you now. Huh? Can't talk with a gun in your mouth, huh? Bitch ass nigga. What? Who shot you?
Well, as for the song itself, I really like it. I liked whatever was being sampled, the piano. Bum, bum, bum. JM motherfucker. Talk amongst yourselves while I find out what that is. Oh, Junior Mafia. Yeah, so they were recording Junior Mafia that night, the night of the shooting. From what I understand, Junior Mafia was an artist named Little Cease, who was a Biggie's cousin. Lil Kim was in it, and then some other people. But they were all up recording, their debut album, the night of the shooting. So that's what a JM motherfucker is. I can totally see why Tupac would think this is about him. Wouldn't it be something if, because they're talking about gun in your mouth, although I've never read anything about that, but it would be totally like Tupac's camp, who kept the, shooting himself in the testicles things on the down low. It would be totally like them to leave out that, Pac got a gun, in his mouth, because that's, humiliating. They're all about, dicks in your mouth. So here's a gun in your mouth. So I could totally see them, let's not mention that. So wouldn't it be something if that really did happen and Pac knows that it happened and then it turns up on this song? That would be something. I guess we're never going to know. Later, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, there's a guy in prison named Dexter Isaac, and he confessed to being, one of the shooters. He was in prison for life for something else, and he waited until the time was up. You couldn't be charged for the shooting, to come forward and say, yes, it was me, and that Jimmy the Henchman paid me to do it. And Jimmy the Henchman saying, no, I didn't do it. And then a couple years later, Jimmy the Henchman is going to prison for life, and to try and get some years shaved off of his sentence, he comes clean and says, yes, I did, plan the shooting. No one ever comes out and says exactly why he paid to have this done. Some people say this is totally conspiracy theory stuff. Was that Bad Boy, Sean Combs with Bad Boy, had made overtures to Tupac, like, come and record with us, and Tupac blew them off. And this was kind of like a disciplining. And supposedly it was just supposed to go down that, he got pistol whipped and beat up a little and his jewelry taken, and no shooting was to occur. But it happened because, Pac pulled his out first, and then it was, all bets are off. The odd thing about that whole story is Dexter Isaac, the guy who says, I was one of the shooters, Zayd, who is Tupac's brother-in-law, who was there, said, now that I see who this Dexter Isaac guy is on TV saying that, he was one of the shooters, Zayd is saying, no way, I was there, he was not one of them. Dexter Isaac has a Caribbean accent, and Zayd is saying these guys were all Americans, no accent whatsoever, and their skin was much darker than Dexter Isaac. So he's not buying it at all that Dexter Isaac was one of them, and he wonders why Dexter Isaac is even saying anything about it in the first place. Did he get paid off to say it? Who knows? He did write a book about it. Dexter did, about, the shooting, and, I guess made some money off of that. But Zayd says, no way. So, who to believe? And we'll probably never know. But there were plenty of people that wanted to bring Tupac down with that sex trial and with this. Then President Dan Quayle had called out Tupac by name and said that his album Tupacalypse should never have been released into decent society. So the government was after him. The FBI was after him. Law enforcement in general, was down on the gangster rap, Cop Killer by Ice-T and Fuck the Police by NWA. The law enforcement did not have a very good view of any rappers. So they obviously could have been part of it. It's just all like it's like a big whodunit. Who brought Tupac down? And I don't know if we're ever going to know that answer. But back to the song. Even if it's not about Tupac, I could see, Tupac's in jail. He's been shot. He's claiming Biggie and Sean had something to do with it. And then Sean and Biggie have the poor taste to release this, thinking it could be misconstrued. So, it could have been totally innocent on their part, but, a part of them would have had to say, this is kind of bad timing. Let's wait on the release of this. Anyway, this is one of the things that started the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. And you're only going to hear me say that one more time about something else. So, but many people say, time stopped when this came out. And it was like, oh shit, here we go. So the next episode, I'm not quite sure what song we're going to do, but I know, Tupac's journey continues musically. So we may be hearing something from him about that. Suge Knight comes back into the story. So interesting things ahead. It's so we're going to be into 95, and it's not too much later that Tupac is killed, and then Biggie. So I don't think this series has very many more episodes to go. But if you've enjoyed it so far, and you like hanging out with me, think about subscribing and liking this, and I'll see you on the next episode.